Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Suspect here with kind of a topic that I have that I kind of want to explain on the sides of Destiny because, as you guys know, I do play competitive Advanced Warfare such as game battles, UMGs, and I do all that good stuff. But I do really honestly enjoy Destiny a whole lot. I love playing it. I love Trials of Osiris. The Crucible's pretty fun. And one topic that I wanted to bring up for discussion is, could Destiny potentially ever make it as an esport? And I say this because it's like this game, it can be competitive. It really can be. But where this game really shines is its, player versus environment. The fact that there's raids, Prison of Elders, quests. This is where the game really just, makes a name for itself. Vault of Glass was what made the raids ultimately very exciting to await for. Like, because of Vault of Glass, that's why the Destiny community was so excited for the Crota's End raid, and that's why we've also been upset that, or not upset, but we were kind of like in doubt of the fact that we weren't gonna have a new raid for House of Wolves. And the PvE is great. I love PvE in Destiny. I play it a lot of the times, but I'm also playing Crucible a good amount of the times if I'm with a good team. If I'm with Shadow Knight or Relaxing Ray, I'll play with them. But there's just nothing really competitive about this game. Like, for one, it doesn't have custom games, and or private match for you guys that don't understand what that is, even though self-explanatory. Custom games and private matches are ultimately what can really shoot this game to be a competitive game. As you guys know, on Advanced Warfare, or Call of Duty for that matter, you have private match. So you host matches on game battles or UMG, people accept them, or you find them and you accept, and you add people as a friend, add them to a private match, and you guys play each other. And that's how you go about it. And as you guys know, Call of Duty has LAN events that you go to, and you can compete, in a LAN, in a team, and you perform at a booth, and you guys just compete for cash money and, to win. And for Destiny, that honestly, that'd be awesome. I would love to see something like this happen in the Destiny community. But the first move would have to bring, custom games or private match into the picture. That's one. Two, we kind of have to find a way in order to balance out the PvP situation, because as you guys know, you can have, let's say, I'll give you a scenario. There's two level 34s. One of them's got Hawkmoon, and one of them has, let's say, the Devil You Don't. Two hand cannons, one legendary, one exotic. What's gonna fill in that gap between a legendary weapon and an exotic weapon? And for one, ignore the fact that Hawkmoon is a timed exclusive for PlayStation. What I mainly want to focus on is, how are we going to deal with that situation between exotics and legendary weapons? And not only that, with a weapon like Hawkmoon, you're going to have complete randomness as to what bullets have bonus damage. And it's like, I don't know how you'd go about balancing that out for a player choice, or for a weapon choice for a player. And I say this because, some people might want to run a last word in a competitive Destiny game, and that's fine. Other people, and that's an exotic, that fills up your exotic slot. Other people want to run a Patience in Time, or an Icebreaker for that matter, just hypothetically speaking, and that fills up your exotic slot. And some people just want to use a Thunderlord or a Truth or a Yallarhorn in their heavy slot, which is an exotic also. But it's that gap from exotic to legendary that we need to fill up and kind of balance out. Maybe we should ban some exotic weapons, like, Thorn. I would say, personally, not everyone would agree with my statements, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But what I think is that Thorn should be one of the weapons to be banned. Because how is it that you can have a weapon that does damage over time? It's like, okay, Trials, you are on round 10. Winner of this match gets to go to Mercury because they have their 9-win streak, 9-0. And it's a 1v1. You're using whatever gun you want. and your opponent is using Thorn. And in that case, you kill him, but he manages to land one headshot and one body shot to you, and you live. But thing with that is that it has damage over time, so now you're the one that's dead, and instead of your team being the one to go to Mercury and get the 9-0 rewards, now this guy just sent it to another overtime round. And that kind of stuff shouldn't really happen, in my opinion. That's not competitive. That's honestly just luck and lack of skill. I hate Thorn. That gun just... Honestly, that gun just disgusts me all the time. I see it in Crucible or in Trials, and it's so annoying to die by that gun. And Hawkmoon. I know I use Hawkmoon from time to time, but it's that balance factor that isn't there. If I get killed by Hawkmoon because it's so OP, in my opinion it is, then I'm just going to bust mine out in order to stand a chance against those guys. My weapon of choice is the Last Word. There's nothing special about it other than it can be fan-fired. Yes, you have bonus damage and accuracy when firing from the hip, okay. But that's not, you know, like maybe the bonus damage is something that, what's it called, has that non-balancing factor. But nonetheless, it's like, it's nothing like Thorn with that damage over time that's honestly full of crap in my eyes. I think that shouldn't even be allowed to begin with. But, you know, that's one thing and that comes with making Destiny an esport, and that's the balancing. Second, we not only have to balance the weapons, we have to try and balance the armor as well. Because as you guys know, different armor pieces have different benefits. You know, some boots can give you, I forgot the name of the new exotic boots, but they give you an extra jump. You know, maybe some of us want to use that, and that's fine. You know, no big deal. And it lets you carry more heavy ammo. Okay, that's cool. And, you know, maybe there's, you know, you have the Acleophage Symbiote, which gives you an extra golden gun shot. No problem. People can go ahead and have 4 golden gun shots. That's no big deal. But what about, like, the exotics that... I'm not sure that they kind of, like... You know, they're the big difference maker in this case. Honestly, at this point, I can't think of it. But I'm pretty sure later it's going to ring a bell in my mind. I'm going to be like, this piece of armor can't be used in competitive play because it's just, there's just some ridiculous advantage to it. Exotics, in my opinion, that are completely fine when being used competitively would be, for one, Helm of Saint 14. I feel like that helmet would be amazing for competitive play. And I'll get to the game modes in a little bit, but if Control were to ever be a game mode in the competitive map rotation, then, you know, Titans are all going to run Helm of Saint 14 if they're a defender. You know, maybe sometimes, I don't know, someone would want to run as a Hunter or a Warlock or another Titan that's a striker. And, you know, that's cool and everything, but that Saint 14 helmet, it's honestly going to make things, it's going to spice things up. It's going to show how smart can the enemy team be in order to kind of outsmart this. Or is a gunslinger going to use a golden gun shot in order to bust the bubble out? We don't know. Some exotic pieces of armor can make the game very, very interesting. But in a sense, some can be, you know, in a sense, a little overpowered. And very light touch on the word overpowered. That in competitive play, as I don't know how, you know, because I know that Halo and Destiny are kind of, they don't coincide with each other, but, you know, they kind of feel the same. They kind of go and go. And I'm not sure how the Halo and the competitive Halo scene runs. And honestly, Destiny doesn't have a competitive scene at all, so this just doesn't have a say in it. But coming from the Call of Duty community, the word overpowered is very, very sensitive. It's like people don't use it loosely, but the second you use it, it's as if you did use it loosely. And an exotic that I would think would be, in a sense, overpowered in my mind would be, you know, something as simple as the Claws of Ahamkara. It sounds insane, but let me explain. Let's say you're a self-resing Warlock. And as you guys know, when you're under Radiance, your melee is a one-hit kill. Okay. But what if you're able to just, you know, like literally just spam the crap out of your Scorch because you have that extra melee. At first, if you don't have these, it's like you hit someone and okay, fine, you hit them, and you gotta wait just, you know, a second or two in order for you to use it again. But in order to fill in that gap to get an extra 1 or 2 hits, it's like maybe that's not really a difference maker. Maybe it can be, but this is just something I'm thinking out of my mind and something that I'm seeing on paper. Another exotic that I would think would be, you know, kind of, you know, to me would be Obsidian Mind. Everyone's going to argue that that helmet is an exclusive quote-unquote helmet to PvE. But every time you get a kill, you replenish your super energy. And that doesn't just go for killing minions of the darkness. Even though that's one of its perks, that it still goes for Guardian kills. And that can lead to you getting your Nova Bomb time and time and time again. And how dull or interesting potentially could it make the game if you're just spitting and pooping out Nova Bombs because of some, you know, piece of exotic gear that your opponent may not have? And that's another balance feature. What if your opponent doesn't have that piece of armor or doesn't have that exotic weapon? That's one thing that we really need to try and figure out and need to balance out in order for this game to be balanced out for competitive. Now, I know someone's going to bring up the idea of create a class, but that's just not the way Destiny is. Destiny does not roll with, you know, setting up class setups for, you know, for you to use in, you know, Call of Duty references for search and destroy or hardpoint or any of that stuff. It's kind of just like, you know, you roll with your weapon, you roll with your build, and that's the way you go. There really isn't, you know, a create a class system, and honestly, I wouldn't like to see that in Destiny. Okay, now the game modes. How would this work? Well, one thing that does work out for, you know, for CSGO, works out for League, I believe. Don't quote me on League, please, because I don't play it, but at the same time it could happen, is a best of a certain amount of games. Now let me explain. In Call of Duty, best of 5. First team to get 3 wins wins the entire series. Maybe we could see that in Destiny, but the amount of players that would be in Destiny, I would stick around 3 or 4. Now I'm only saying 4 because of Call of Duty. They played for, you know, 4v4. But trying to leave Call of Duty out of this, other than Control, one of the more competitive game modes, they're actually 3v3. Salvage, elimination, skirmish in a sense, and you also can have, I guess you can have 3-man control, but that'd be kind of weird due to the fact that the map sizes are rather huge. If we play it on smaller maps, maybe it'd be a bit better, but that's something we have to figure out also. And map balancing is a huge feature, such as the Burning Shrine. Great competitive map, 3 even lanes, mid, left, right, easy, nothing difficult, perfect, if anything, for 3-man control. But what's the problem with that map? It's the sun, believe it or not. I went into Trials the first week it came out, and it was on Burning Shrine. I was playing with my buddy Josh and Relaxing Ray, and at first we spawned on quote-unquote good side, according to Ray. And it was like, you know, I just played Trials as if I normally would play Destiny, just a bit smarter and a bit a bit slower. And to my knowledge, whenever we started a new game and we turned around spawn, he would tell me, wow, we have bad spawn. And at first I'm just like, I never understood from competitive players what good spawn and bad spawn is, until I finally realized that I couldn't get my sniper picks because the sun is just blurring on my face, and I'm hoping to God that I can find some red letters across that light and hopefully shoot the crap out of my Praedyths and hope for the best. It's map balancing that we also have to bring to competitive Destiny, and other than that, you know, it's just honestly I guess the point that I'm trying to get to, because I just thought of this and I'm just honestly hypothetically speaking as I'm making this video, is really just a balance factor. One of the bigger things we have to figure out is custom games and private matches. That's one thing we really need to bring to the game in order to have that massive stepping stone into making this game competitive. Other than that, we have to kind of balance out which exotics are banned from the game or from the competitive scene, because there are bans anywhere you go. Any game that you go to, there's always going to be one or two. Maybe I'm wrong, but of course, from the games I've played, there's some for Need for Speed, for some game battles for Need for Speed, some cars are banned, some guns are banned in Call of Duty, some guns are banned in just any game, and it's like, maybe we should resolve to that. But I don't want it to be like Call of Duty Ghosts, where as soon as one gun rose to the top, 2 weeks later banned. And then another thing I don't want to see is no diversity in this game. I want to see people using a variety of weapons and making this game interesting. I don't want it to be like everyone's using the BAL or everyone's using the Vector because that's the most overpowered gun. I just want to see balanced weapons, balanced maps, a way to fill in the gap between legendaries and exotics, and kind of just bring forth this competitive community, because it would be insane to go to LAN events and play Destiny competitively in a booth, 3-man. That would be great. Also have game battles for this game. I would love it. Honestly, I'd probably stop playing Advanced Warfare and for competitive Destiny, but at the same time I'd have to rethink it because I love competitive Call of Duty. But at the same time, I would love it if Destiny became competitive, and it's just one of these things that I have to think about on my own time, but that's beside the point. Anyway, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys have anything to comment, anything you want to add on to this, you know, maybe you guys have an idea for competitive Destiny, maybe there's something you don't agree with, you know, then let's just discuss about it. You want to discuss about it in the comment section, that's cool. You know, in case someone wants to kind of chat about it on Twitter, my Twitter's in the video description. I know I don't have a lot of subscribers in order to be saying this kind of stuff, but still, it's like, it's kind of a topic that you can talk about with anybody, and it's something you can talk about for a long time, and it'll be a super interesting conversation, which is something I truly agree with. And yeah, that's honestly all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, rating, subscribe if you haven't already. And that's pretty much all you have to hear from me. And I guess one thing I want to say before I end up closing is that Thorn sucks. I hate that stupid gun. Hawkmoon is solely based on luck, but we all know that. And you know, maybe Trials of Osiris can be that game mode that could truly bring Destiny into the competitive light. And I really do hope so. I would honestly like to see this one day. I'd like to see it happen. Maybe for Destiny 2, maybe for the Taken King DLC. But again, that's enough for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys later.
A single victory doesn't win a war, but it's a good start. Good work.